Ooh, I can't wait for that one. I need to know how many other things I can get to beat someone up. What would you do if somebody tried to break into your car or van? Oh, if someone tried to break in, they do not know who they're messing with. I'll just beat them to a pulp. They don't even know. Look at these guns. They don't even know. They better not even approach this van. Well, what would you do if a cop pulled you over and you had a gun? They're not the boss of me. They're not going to find my gun. I will hide it so good. And you know what? They're not going to even be able to come into my car because they have to have a warrant anyway. I know more than they know, and I will just represent myself in court because I know more than anybody else. All right, well, this is not shocking because I made this video about using seatbelts to secure your door while you're sleeping at night, and people lost their minds. There was over 800 comments, and a lot of them were like, just get a Glock, just get a rifle, just get this, just get a gun. A gun is the solution. Say it with me now. Guns, guns, guns. Guns. Not everybody's going to be comfortable using a gun, and there's some legality issues that you'll want to know about. So stick around and I'm going to tell you all the things that I know about traveling in a vehicle while carrying a gun, and some alternatives just in case you don't want to. Now, before we get started, I am not a lawyer, and this video is not going to be all inclusive. Also, this is not about my opinion, so I don't want any politically charged comments at all. Now, that said, guns are weapons. I may be joking around in this video to just keep it lighthearted, that I might include satire in this video, but I do need to be sober-minded when we're talking about safety issues that could cause serious injury or death. Don't nobody want to be sober. So now let's talk about guns. What I'm about to share is just for the United States because I don't know anything about gun laws or guns in other countries. The US is made up of 50 states. Each state has their own laws about how to obtain guns. In some states, you have to have permits, licenses, certain waiting time. There's rules about how to store or carry your guns. Believe it or not, there is no nationwide permit that allows any person, well, maybe law enforcement, I don't know about that, but anyways, that allows any single person to carry a gun across all state lines. Just a blanket permit. There's no such thing as that. So wherever you reside, those are the laws that you're going to want to go by when you're obtaining a gun. I followed all the rules. I got a gun. I'm protected. I'm straight. Okay, so let's just say you have a gun and you're a nomad and you want to travel across the US. What are the rules? Okay, so according to Federal Law 18 USC 926A, every citizen can legally transport firearms across state lines as long as, those are the magical words, as long as, and there's two things you need to remember. As long as, one, you obtained that gun legally in the state of origin. So if your residence address is in South Dakota, Nevada, California, New York, whatever their rules are, you obtained your gun with their rules in mind. And number two, that your gun is legal in the destination state. So if you purchase the gun in Nevada and you want to drive to Florida, you want to make sure that you are following the laws of the destination state of Florida. This is also known as FOPA, Firearm Owner Protection Act. FOPA, you said FOPA? No, FOPA. Oh, FIFA, like the soccer game? No, it's FOPA, bro. FOPA. Okay, so you obtained your gun lawfully in your resident state, and now you want to travel and go across all these different states and stop here and go there, go to the national parks and all these things. But how do you know if it's going to be okay in each different state? You're going to want to Google gun laws, reciprocity states. Reciprocity means that two different states or different states work together to recognize similar laws about guns. So there's two categories of state. The states that allow people to travel from one state to another and still carry on those same laws or similar laws, I'm going to call those gun-friendly states. And the states that don't really want anything to do with guns or people carrying guns from other states into their state, we're going to call them unfriendly states, for no other reason than to just keep this video simple. So for example, a couple states that are gun unfriendly would be California and New York. Now, because of the FOPA law, you can still travel across the United States, but here are 3 things that you must do when you're traveling across unfriendly states. Number 1, your gun and your ammo have to be stored separately. So your gun cannot be loaded. Number 2, your gun cannot be accessible to your person. You can't keep your gun in a glove compartment or the center console. It's got to be away from you. Usually if you have a car, you'd put it in your trunk. If you have a van or RV, you'd have to put it in a cabinet in a hard shell case. And if you're in a motorcycle, I don't really know. That's something you have to look up on your own. And number 3, when you're traveling, it has to be continuous and uninterrupted, meaning you can't stop. If you're in a gun unfriendly state, you need to pass through. that means that you could probably stop for gas, but they wouldn't want you to stop for, say, going to a restaurant. You wouldn't be able to take a nap somewhere. They can't give me any tickets or anything for taking a nap. There's no set time limit, and that's going to be according to maybe the officer that would arrest you, but you don't want to put yourself in that situation. But the whole point of this one is that it's continuous and uninterrupted, meaning you're basically just passing through. So if you're traveling to different states, you're still going to need an alternative method of weapon, because you're not going to be able to have that weapon right on your hip or right on your seat or in your glove compartment. Let's just say that you're moseying along in a state that's gun unfriendly, and you're just in a lull and you're just driving and your foot gets heavy on the gas and you end up speeding and they pull you over. And let's just say that you were toking it up a little bit with the weed smokes, and when they pull you over, they smell weed. Listen, I like to partake in the weed smokes, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully I could air it out before they pull me over, but I mean, can they search your vehicle? Yes, they can. Now, let me back up a little bit. The Fourth Amendment does protect you from illegal searches, but if the officer has probable cause, they can search your vehicle. For probable cause, all they need is to see something, hear something, or smell something suspicious, and that could allow them entry into your vehicle. Or if you give them permission, which I don't know why you just give them blanket permission to search your vehicle. I mean, unless you don't have anything to hide. But anyways, that's up to you. How are you not already subscribed to this channel with so much great content? All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Throw a like on this video and keep watching to the end, because you're gonna find out some alternatives in case you don't want to carry a gun in your vehicle.
I'm gonna stop you right there. I was smart enough to register my van as a camper van. So it's an RV, which means it's my home. So they cannot come in without a search warrant, right?
Nope. Just because you're in an RV or a camper van does not mean that you can get away from them searching your vehicle. Now, there's a side note to that. If you're driving your RV or camper van and you're in a driving mode, or you're parked at a restaurant and you're basically not parked like in a campground or residence or whatever, then you're following auto laws. And auto laws allow officers to search your vehicle. Now, if you're parked at a camp spot or at your place of residence or a friend's house and you're there for a while, you're set up like you're in your residence, that's when it trickles over and it's more like your residence. And then they would have a harder time searching your vehicle. They would probably have to get a judge to sign off on that warrant. But they have probable cause. They probably still could search your vehicle. So I heard a long time ago when I first started my van life journey that, oh, as long as you register your van as a camper van, then you're safe. They can't search your vehicle. And that's not true. Most of the time as nomads, we're driving, we're going around, we're living the nomadic life. And so the auto laws will trump the home laws in this case. Now, each state has different rules about that, so you'll have to check depending on where you are. So let's just say that you got pulled over in your camper van or your RV and they smell some weed, or they see a holster, or they see something, or they hear something that they feel is a little suspicious. They get into your vehicle, search it up, and they find your gun. Now what? Well, the punishment is different in different states. Now, if you have warrants or if you've been arrested before and you get pulled over for the same thing you've been arrested for, you're probably going to get a heftier sentence. But if this is your first time getting pulled over and they find a gun, then most likely you'll either get probation of 3 years, $1,000 fine, or 1 year in jail, depending on the state and depending on how hard they want to go in on you.
Jail changes things. I like tacos too much, and I know they don't probably have tacos all the time.
Yeah, it's not good. Nobody wants to be in jail, especially when you're a nomad, because you're losing all your freedoms at that point.
I better rethink this thing about having a gun in my van.
So what are some alternative options if you don't want to carry a gun? Here are 5 things to think about when you decide to go gun-free in your vehicle. Number 1, park in safer areas. Now, obviously I know that you can never be 100% sure. There's all kinds of crime in even the most ritziest neighborhoods, but as a nomad, you really need to be cautious and observant all the time. You need to be scoping out situations and making sure that you feel safe. And another tip is to park with your front section of your vehicle facing to a direction that you could get out easily if you hear something or if you start to get nervous. Number 2, plan and practice your escape if somebody tries to break in. Oh, someone's breaking in. I gotta move all this stuff and get out of the way and open the door before they kill me. Oh, that was a fail. That took too long. When you're in a camper van or an RV or even a car, there's different doors, there's different entrances. So if somebody breaks in on one of your front windows, then you're gonna jump out the back door. So you need to practice being nimble. Now, a lot of us, we're not spring chickens here. So practice that. And also, you're probably going to be in the dead of sleep. So you're going to be startled awake. You need to grab your keys and you need to jump out the back. Number 3, put little obstacles in the way. So for example, when I did that video, if you haven't watched it already, go watch it. When I did that video, I said you can string your seatbelt through the door handle if you have that type of vehicle. And that's just one extra level of protection. I wasn't saying that's the only level of protection. I got a lot of comments about people thinking I'm dumb that I don't lock my doors. Lock your doors, string bungees through. I have my curtain closed when it's nighttime, so once they break through the front cab, they're not gonna be able to see in. So they don't know who's back here or what's back here. So by the time they open that curtain, that's an extra few seconds for me to jump out the back. And then if I have my toilet pulled out, they'll trip over that. There's things you can do to prolong the seconds of somebody getting to you. So when people say, oh, that's just a false sense of security, if you have your 2 doors on the side here, if you have that type of van and they're bungeed together and they try to pull that door open, they're not gonna be probably trying to crawl through a window. Also, do you realize how hard it is to break a window that has tint on it? You can break it with one of those like little push things and it'll start to crackle. But if you have a heavy film on there, they still have to like pull it out. And nobody's really jumped through windows unless they're like a petite thief. When people say, oh, they're gonna be in 5 seconds. Yeah, they might, but if they're just a person that's desperate, then it's gonna take a little bit more than 5 seconds. Number 4, the weapons that you do have, keep them close. Don't have your weapon at the front if you're laying back here. And if you have, say, like a bat, don't put it next to that door. Make sure you have it right here next to your bed. Or you can have multiple weapons in different spots, but make sure you have one. I'm not showing any of my weapons because I'm not putting my private security measures out there. Don't be trying to have like this giant axe handle that's this long because you're not gonna be able to swing it around and stuff. And practice whatever weapon you have. And number 5, alternative weapons than having a gun. There's many different options. You can have weapons that spray, hit, stab, tase, demobilize, and alternative guns like rubber bullets and stuff like that. I'll do a video in more detail about different types of weapons in a future video. So I can go into more detail about how effective some are over others. Ooh, I can't wait for that one. I need to know how many other things I can get to beat someone up. So now you just need to decide if having a gun in your vehicle is right for you. I got a lot to think about. So I'd love to know in the comments what you use for safety and what you think about having guns or not having a gun in your vehicle. And just a reminder, keep it respectful and friendly in the comments. Now, I'd love for you to become part of the snack pack, but if you want to be part of the Munch Bunch, which is our Patreon crew, then you can click the link for Patreon in the description below. Now, just how there's different laws in different states, there's differences between living in an RV, a van, or a car. And I'll be talking about those differences in my next video, talking about how I lived in my car for 4 months and loved it, even though it was a smaller space, and how you can do it too. So stay tuned for that video coming soon. Bye for now. Also, I do want to say one thing, is that guns are, oh, somebody try to break in, I would, well, what would you do if a cop pulled you over? That we need to be sober, that we do need to be sober-minded about, that we do need to, okay, so I'm going to break this down, okay, because I don't know anything about guns or gun laws and other gun carrying law states. No, that's weird. State that's it's a gun law, that's a gun probable cause like that. But so that door over, don't put it right, but would you stop? So I'd love to know in the comments what you think about gun laws, and no, I don't want to say that, that's for sure. It's just, that's just nonsense. Snack time.